From VOA Learning English, this is the Economics Report. The American housing market is growing stronger. Yet, many areas are still suffering from the collapse of the market in 2008. Richmond is a small city in California. More than half of the homeowners there owe more for their home loans than the properties are currently worth. Such loans are risky for lenders since people in that situation often stop making payments. Now, city officials are moving forward with a plan to rescue these struggling homeowners. The city wants to buy the mortgages from banks for an amount equal to the current value of the properties. It plans to work with an investment company to help each homeowner get a new mortgage through government programs and private investors. City officials say if banks do not cooperate, they will force the lenders to sell the loans. Richmond plans to use the legal power called eminent domain. This allows officials to take a property, but requires the government to pay fair market value. State and local governments use this legal power to take property needed for public purposes, such as new roads, schools, or economic development. At least 2 banks are asking a federal court to intervene. They want the court to prevent the city of Richmond from using eminent domain. Lawyers for the banks say investors such as retirees would lose money. They also say the action would interfere with their contracts with investors. The United States paid billions of dollars to rescue banks during the world financial crisis. Now, the courts must decide if Richmond, California, can help rescue homeowners through the power of eminent domain. For VOA Learning English, I'm Laurel Bowman.
This is the VOA Special English Economics Report. Many children first learn the value of money by receiving an allowance. The purpose is to let children learn from experience at an age when financial mistakes are not very costly. The amount of money that parents give to their children to spend as they wish differs from family to family. Timing is another consideration. Some children get a weekly allowance. Others get a monthly allowance. In any case, parents should make clear what, if anything, the child is expected to pay for with the money. At first, young children may spend all of their allowances soon after they receive it. If they do this, they will learn the hard way that spending must be done within a budget. Parents are usually advised not to offer more money until the next allowance. The object is to show young people that a budget demands choices between spending and saving. Older children may be responsible enough to save money for larger costs, like clothing or electronics. Many people who have written on the subject of allowances say it is not a good idea to pay your child for work around the home. These jobs are a normal part of family life. Paying children to do extra work around the house, however, can be useful. It can even provide an understanding of how a business works. Allowances give children a chance to experience the things they can do with money. They can share it in the form of gifts or giving to a good cause. They can spend it by buying things they want, or they can save and maybe even invest it. Saving helps children understand that costly goals require sacrifice. You have to cut costs and plan for the future. Requiring children to save part of their allowance can also open the door to future saving and investing. Many banks offer services to help children and teenagers learn about personal finance. A savings account is an excellent way to learn about the power of compound interest. Compounding works by paying interest on interest. So, for example, $1 invested at 2% interest for 2 years will earn 2 cents in the first year. The second year, the money will earn 2% of $1.02, and so on. That may not seem like a lot, but over time, it adds up. And that's the VOA Special English Economics Report. We invite you to share your family stories about getting or giving an allowance. Write your comments at voaspecialenglish.com. For VOA Special English, I'm Carolyn Presutti. This is the VOA Special English Economics Report. The best example of something is often called the gold standard. It sets the standard against which other things are measured. In economics, the term describes how major trading nations once used gold to set currency values and exchange rates. Many nations continued to use the gold standard until the last century. In the United States, people could exchange paper money for gold from the 1870s until 1933. Then President Richard Nixon finally disconnected the dollar from the value of gold in 1971. From time to time, some politicians call for a return to the gold standard. But in 1978, the International Monetary Fund ended an official gold price. The IMF also ended the required use of gold in transactions with its member countries. Since that time, gold prices have grown. But the growth was uneven. Prices, uncorrected for inflation, continue near record highs. Gold is trading above $1,600 an ounce. An ounce is about 28 grams. But people keep buying. Some people are called gold bugs. These are investors who say people should buy gold to protect against inflation. People have valued gold for thousands of years. The soft, dense metal polishes to a bright yellow shine and resists most chemical reactions. It makes a good material for money, political power, and more recently, electrical power. If you own a device like a mobile phone or a computer, you might own a little gold in the wiring. The gold standard was the subject of one of the best-known speeches in American political history. It took place at the 1896 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. William Jennings Bryan wanted the country to use both gold and silver as money. The idea was to devalue the dollar and make it easier for farmers to pay their debts. Bryan made this famous statement, "You shall not press down upon the brow of labor this crown of thorns. You shall not crucify mankind upon a cross of gold." The speech made William Jennings Bryan famous. He was a presidential candidate 3 times, but he never won. For VOA Special English, I'm Carolyn Presutti. For more news and information for people learning English, go to voaspecialenglish.com. You can find transcripts, MP3s, podcasts, and activities. You can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and iTunes at VOA Learning English.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Economics Report. New research shows how a lack of money, food, or even time can affect decision-making and the ability to act. In the book, Scarcity, Why Having Too Little Means So Much, Professors Sendil Mullainathan and Eldar Shafir examine the mental stress of dealing with a lack of something necessary. Sendil Mullainathan is an economist. He teaches at Harvard University in Massachusetts. Eldar Shafir teaches psychology at Princeton University in New Jersey. Their research combined theories from economics and psychology to explain behaviors. The two borrowed a word from digital technology to describe how thinking is harmed by scarcity. They use the word bandwidth to describe the ability of the mind to remember and plan. They say mental bandwidth decreases when people have too little. When mental energy is divided between worry and planning, planning is affected. One experiment in India tested the intelligence of farmers before and after the yearly harvest. Farmers scored higher after they had sold their crops. Worry over the lack of money before the harvest had temporarily decreased their intelligence. The two men experienced their own decreased bandwidth. They found that a lack of enough time affected their performance in all parts of their lives. Sendil Mullainathan was chosen for a MacArthur Genius Award, yet, he says, he found himself missing meetings, not answering emails, and forgetting to call his mother. Eldar Shafir says the research is meaningful for public policy. He says the condition of being poor or hungry or even too busy restricts the ability to think and act to make things better. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Economics Report in Special English. More and more British people are raising their own chickens. But these chicken owners have a real worry. what to do with their chickens when they go on vacation. A woman named Julie Smith has answered their prayers. She has opened a chicken hotel in the English countryside to take care of the birds when their owners are away. Julie Smith named her hotel the Fawlty Towers. The name is a play on words from the British television comedy about a hotel called Fawlty Towers. But Julie's hotel houses fowl, or chickens, and she wants to make sure they have a wonderful stay. She gives them lots of individual attention and feeds them fresh vegetables every day. She collects the eggs they lay and gives them to their owners when they return. She even takes the chickens for walks in her hen stroller. England has faced hard economic times during the global recession. Julie Smith feels lucky that she has been able to develop a business around her interest. Her specialized business has done well. She has 13 chickens of her own. They are commercial hens. That means she uses the eggs and sells them. Also, she knows she is providing a service for her community. Now, clients even come to her from outside the county of Kent, where she lives in southeastern England. Recently, she kept a woman's hens when she went into the hospital to have a baby. At night, the chickens stay in hen houses, but during the day, they can free range in a garden. But Julie Smith only takes hens, which are female birds. No male birds are allowed. For VOA Learning English, I'm Laurel Bowman.